Good morning there. You're watching QTV this morning, and I am Jenna Bosonko. So today I'm not here with my amazing co-host Ibrahim Abalde, but my amazing co-host Adedrami is here with me, and I'm glad.
I'm not quite as amazing as Ibrahim
you
Abalde,
are actually.
but you know, hey.
You're here.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, but how was your weekend?
It was nice and restful. As most people know, my weekend consists just of Sunday because, you know, it's a 6-day week that I work. So Sunday I rested, watched a lot of the Women's World Cup.
Yeah.
And watched a couple of documentaries, jazz music documentaries. I just took it easy, really.
Yeah.
And what about you? How was yours? You worked?
Yeah.
On Sunday?
Yeah, but it was fun anyway because I went to the ship.
Okay.
You know, the Navy ship that actually came.
British Navy ship.
Yeah, that came.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's good to know that they're trying to help our Gambian Navy to build their capacity.
Yeah.
Because obviously the capacity of the Gambian Navy is not as expected.
Sure.
You know, most of the time they don't have that routinal patrol. There are days they do, there are days they don't do.
Sure.
So it seems now criminals know that there's a timetable.
Yeah.
You know, there are days they don't, there are days, so obviously then they can do illegal stuff.
So what are they offering us in terms of?
So firefighting training,
Okay.
you know, just general training that, you know, one needs. But then I'm happy that they talked about the fact that the training is both ways.
Yes.
It's not just us, it's not just us receiving, but also they'll be receiving, you know, locally.
Okay,
stuff
so if
that-
anybody's watching from the British Navy, actually it's nice you guys come here, but give us about 5 or 6 of your ships you have lying
We
around
need them.
that you don't use. Trust me, we need them.
We
So
do,
please. But
because we
you
do.
know, thanks for visiting, but you know, give us some ships.
Yeah, hopefully, because this is the second time that they're coming.
Yeah.
So at least there's a history of some sort of partnership.
Sure.
So hopefully our own Gambian Navy can also visit them.
Yeah.
You know, so
And you know, what you tend to find from a lot of these European countries, there's a plan behind why they want to help the likes of the Gambia.
Right.
So the fact that this West African region is a kind of drugs hub, so Cape Verde, the Gambia, Senegal region, Guinea-Bissau, they want to kind of crack down on these ships that bring drugs, particularly from South America, from Brazil.
Right.
So, you know, it's to their benefit because a lot of these drugs, they don't get sold here. They get sold up in Western countries where people make big money from selling drugs. So they want to help us to kind of stem the tide of
so
those
it's a West African
shipments.
tour,
Right.
but then Gambia is the first stop,
Right.
and then they'll be moving to the other African countries.
Okay.
You know, so they're so excited about, because some of the sailors, it's their first time coming to Gambia, so they're so excited about, you know, meeting people, making friends. And also, you know, after interviewing one of the sailors, he's like, but I have to get used to the heat though. I'm like, welcome to Gambia. You have to get, you
so
know.
how long are they going to be in Gambia?
The ship is going to be there for a period of 2 weeks or less.
Oh, wow.
But
Okay.
then there's
quite
some
long.
crewmen that will be here
Right.
for a longer period.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, so that's how they're doing it. But
that's
you know,
good.
it was just it.
So that was in the morning. And what did you do for the rest of
For the rest of the day, I was just resting, you know, relaxing, you know, doing some private stuff here and there. You know,
You
just
didn't go to a spa?
chill. So I'm going to the spa next weekend,
okay.
inshallah, because I've not been to the spa for a long period of time, and I need some baby girl treatment. So next week, hello spa, I'll be there. But anyway, it's good that you rested.
I did.
You know, well deserved.
I really did rest. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
So you were watching the women's football. I'm
Yeah.
happy that you're giving it a lot of attention, which really it deserves.
It does, because I think particularly a lot of the African teams made it through to the knockout stages, 3 out of the 4 teams. And as I left to come to the studio, Nigeria were playing England, and it was 0-0. I hope Nigeria go on to win. But I was listening. I watched it on BBC, and the commentators were quite shocked at how well Nigeria were playing, because Nigeria should have been ahead. They had 2 excellent chances to score in the first half. But, you know, sometimes you need to take these chances when they come. And they were saying that it's not a case of, you know, England doing well. England are lucky, they said, to go in at halftime without being at least 2 goals behind. But, you know, so I wanted to kind of pay attention to the fact that these African teams are doing quite well. And I think the reason now we're rooting for both Nigeria and Morocco to go through is because it will be the first time that African teams have gone beyond the last 16 of the World Cup to go into the final 8. So, fingers crossed that I click on, and I hope nobody's going to tell me Nigeria have lost. Otherwise, I'll be very upset. but nonetheless, I think we should pay attention to them.
Yes, we should.
Because it's been a World Cup of shocks and upsets.
Yeah.
You have the likes of Canada, world rank number 2,
Right.
they're out. You have the likes of Germany, world rank number 3, they're out.
Ooh.
Brazil, out.
Things are changing.
In the first round, in the group
Wow.
stage. So it's been hugely upset, lots and lots of upsets. And then you had teams like Panama, Colombia, Haiti that nobody expected.
Yeah.
Even though, some of those teams like Haiti went home early, but they played really well. I mean, nobody had an easy game against them. So for me, the standard has been the highest I can recall at a Women's World Cup.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at an African proverb that we have here. So it says, a child who asks questions does not become a fool. A child who asks questions does not become a fool.
Who can argue with that? That is, I am that child.
Yes,
When I was growing up,
true.
I was always asking questions. I always wanted to know things, and that's the way you gain knowledge.
Yes.
If you don't ask and you just look at things and you assume, no. Even now as an adult,
You need to.
I'm very inquisitive. Like if for example, I'm on lots of WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
Somebody will share something and 100 people have commented on it, and I'm like, then you checked to see whether this is true.
Yeah.
Just ask
Verify.
questions and verify and find out the truth. So that kind of helped me as a journalist. In sort of, and I always say to anybody who says I want to be a journalist, I say, are you the inquisitive type?
You
Do
need
you
to
ask
be.
questions? Otherwise, so I love that.
And
proverb.
actually, being a journalist and then, asking the questions automatically leads to you being an accurate individual. The journalism ethic of accuracy requires that you ask questions to have a balanced story, be neutral, and that brings about asking.
Well, you just said it. I mean, how many times have we not sat here, we got a phone call or an email or something, and somebody tells you their side of the story. And it's very persuasive, and you're thinking, oh, maybe I should go with this story. Then you think, hang on a minute.
I need to engage the other party.
The other party,
Yes.
the other side. What's their side of it? And then when you do, you suddenly see, it's
There's a
not
difference.
quite as clear-cut as we first thought. So yes, I think asking questions is crucial, is vital. And just in life, if you want to gain knowledge, you need to ask questions.
Yeah, I think I used to ask questions a lot too, and people be like, "Yo, danga bariwa,"
Yeah.
Get out of here, growing up. And then I have a long-time friend of my mom. She's actually, working in the UN system now.
Right.
So he was like, when you were little, you used to say stuff, and people just used to gather around. So I'm like, for some reason, it's sometimes, the profession is just a calling, maybe, where you grew up asking the questions, engaging, because you want to know about things.
Yes.
So the moment that is missing, then it's a problem.
Yeah, and if adults are watching and they have children who are inquisitive, I think you said it, don't shoo them away.
Yeah.
There's a reason why. And if there are certain things that you think children shouldn't know, or there are ways you can tell them.
Yeah,
that,
you can always play around it.
Yeah, like, what you're asking about is not for
It's
children,
adult stuff.
it's adult stuff.
Yeah.
But don't just say go away,
Yeah.
because that makes them even more curious.
Yeah,
and
they'll
go
be
and
like,
ask
there's something there.
what are they hiding
I
from me?
need to find out. And that brings about, kids nowadays getting into sexual activities early.
Yeah.
They get into sexual activities early because they're like, this is so kept.
Yeah.
It's hidden. So I want to find out what that is.
Why,
I want to know why is it hidden.
Yeah.
But then when you have the conversation, you normalize it to say, oh, this is something you do after 18.
Parents,
when you're an
speak
adult.
to your children.
Talk to your
Talk to
children.
your children. Don't
Tell
let them
them.
go and find. Don't let the street educate them.
If they go outside, they're going to find out on their own and it's going to be dirty.
That's it.
You wouldn't want that.
Yep.
So we need to be direct to answer their questions about issues, just so they know.
Yeah.
I think it is really important.
Be honest with your children.
But I think it's changing gradually. The issue of adolescent conversations with their parents.
It depends. It depends. I mean, there are colleagues upstairs who are watching this, work colleagues of yours and mine, who will tell me that, their parents never had any kind of frank conversations with them about stuff that they should have had, that they had to go and learn somewhere else.
That's sad.
And now that they are parents, they don't want that to be the situation.
Happen.
And so you're right, it probably is changing, because having gone through it, you don't want your children to go through that,
that
because you remember what it was like
Yeah.
when you were asking questions and you were getting shooed away. No, you don't need to know. No, you know, there's a reason why children ask. There's a reason why they're inquisitive. Tell them. And like I said, if it's adult stuff, tell them, sorry.
This is not. It's off bounds.
There are certain things I can't talk to you about, but don't just say go away.
Yeah. Then they want to know.
They're like, why do they want me to go away? Why don't they want me to find out
about this place?
There must be some reason why.
Yes.
So yeah, so let them know that there are boundaries, and but at least talk to your children.
Yeah, it's very important. So we'll just go for a short break, and when we come back, the program continues. Don't go anywhere.
The future is now. With QCell's 5G network, experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled device. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell brings you the future with our ultimate bundles. Enjoy the best voice and data bundle plans in one package. Get unlimited data packages with flexible validity and enjoy what true internet feels like. Get 30 minutes of on-net and off-net calls with 5 gigabytes of data for just $350. Or get bigger bundle packages from 10 gigabytes to 20 gigabytes with over 100 on-net and off-net voice calls and enjoy the fastest internet speed in the Gambia. You can also buy 1-day, 3-day or even 7-day packages and enjoy unlimited data bundles with uncapped speeds. Just dial *343# today and experience the limitless capabilities of the QCell network. *343# should be your favorite code to dial now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, we innovate, others follow.
Welcome back from that break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV This Morning. I am Jenna Bosonko here with my co-host, Mr. Adedurami. So before the break, we were actually talking about the issue in Niger. Yeah. And then we've seen that Bola Tinubu actually wanted for the deployment of Nigerian troops. But then the Senate said a big no to that. Yeah. And, you know, and then, yes.
We expect other countries will say no to it.
Yes.
The Gambia included. And in a sense, what Tinubu has done is kind of set the template for everybody else.
Yeah.
Go to your National Assembly or your Parliament to ask their permission, because what you're doing is you're putting soldiers in harm's way. They could be killed.
They could be.
If the Gambia is planning on doing that, we would expect that the President would put it to the vote at the National Assembly and let the National Assembly decide. But having said that, in Niger, because the deadline they gave them was yesterday, that, you know, agree to our terms or else. The or else said we might use force. Yeah. So what Niger has done today, about 2 hours ago, they've announced that they have closed their airspace. So any planes flying above their airspace, they will take as enemy aircraft and they will shoot them down. So everybody's kind of ramping up the tension. I'm not sure Niger has anti-aircraft guns, but at least
they're just talking.
They've made the threat and
at
said
least
any helicopters or planes that come into our airspace will be deemed to be hostile, and we will be within our rights to shoot it down. So that's a different level of
and I think the fact that obviously Nigeria's military is actually 10 times that of Niger.
Probably 100 times.
Yes, if you take a look at it. So if Nigeria says they're not, you know, deploying, then obviously any other country, who's going to?
Well, that's right.
It's an automatic. So they were going to actually lead. If they said we're deploying, I feel like other countries were going to follow suit.
Well, that's right. I mean, the various security chiefs from ECOWAS met to decide on whether the course of action they should take. Seeing as their leaders had said that force was an option, and as you rightly say, Tinubu, Nigerian president, was leading that. And he's currently the chairman of ECOWAS as well. So if Nigeria say no, it'll be very unusual to hear any other country say
making
yes to that. Nigeria, they have a particular interest because they share a border with Niger. So for them, any instability in Niger could spill over into Nigeria. So they're closer to it than most people.
It's a good thing for them to ensure stability there.
Yeah. Now, they provide a lot of Niger's electricity, and they've already cut that off.
Okay.
So that's already harming in Niger, and people are having to rely on generators if they have them.
Yeah.
So that's one way of trying to bring them in line, but they seem quite determined. And I guess the big question everybody is asking, why this coup? Exactly. We've had other coups and they haven't taken this kind of action or this kind of step. Why have they done it with this one? So we'll be having a program on QTV later this evening to discuss that with various experts. And it'll be good people watch it because I think
what time is it?
I think it's 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Okay, I'll definitely be tuning in. Just to,
don't quote me on that. Francis might.
Okay, I'll definitely.
Us,
I'll definitely be tuning in.
It should be interesting.
It should be interesting.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. So moving on, we have that DOI has declared position on Senegambia Bridge Plan takeover. This is Forea. We also have National Audit Office false bidding documents for ecotourism projects. Former land minister to testify in Rango's case, and also we have that the National Environment Agency confiscates 8 tons of plastic, and also Peace Network urges ECOWAS not to use force in Niger, and Victim Center provides medical support to 926 individuals.
Yeah, several interesting stories there. The plastics one, we carry that story on QTV, 8 tons. 200 people arrested and are to be prosecuted, and if found guilty, they will be fined.
So I just want to get this right.
Yeah, it's around the country, by the way, not just in...
It's around the country.
But 8 tons of plastic bags.
But what happened when plastics were all over? I'm confused.
Well, yeah, what they're saying is that they had given people a warning that plastic bags should not be imported. So some of the people who've been arrested are importers. And I mean, we're talking about bales and bales of plastic bags that obviously were imported to then be sold to shops and so on. But a lot of the people arrested are your people selling water on the side of the road. And
they're the ones arrested?
They include some of those as well. So the big and small fish have been captured in this particular net by the NEA. Our colleague Choi accompanied them when they went around and smashed padlocks and broke into warehouses and started retrieving, because they'd been given tip-off that some of these people had imported huge amounts of plastic bags. And so it remains to be seen whether they're going to prosecute these people, find them, and then what next?
Are you just
is this going to be? Is this a kind of photo opportunity, or is this going to be an ongoing thing? I think that's what people.
They need to prove that, because there was an instance where it was a photo opportunity. So we do not want the same thing to repeat.
We certainly don't.
These are in our laws, and we are aware of them. So actually, sometimes you just feel like running away and never coming back. Because
like honestly, because as we said in our story on the news, this gets into the marine environment.
Yes.
Fish eat plastics. How many times have we not seen when they've split open fish and
there's plastic
in their gut? And we eat those fish. So it's a concern for us as well, as well as all the kind of, because it doesn't disintegrate. It's not biodegradable.
Exactly.
And so if you had paper bags, you can burn it, you can whatever.
Yeah, and also apart from that, the air pollution. There's this air pollution conference happening in September 7th. So it's talking about how pollution then contributes to people, triggering asthma,
ill health.
Asthma patients, bronchitis, or all the other lung health related matters due to pollution. So it's just the effects are just cross-cutting.
They really are, and as we say, let them mean it with this sort of clamp down.
Right.
Let it not just be for show. But that's one thing. You had some other interesting headlines.
Yeah. So we have that the Victim Center provided medical support to 926 people. Obviously part of preparations, I can say, not coming from government, but then civil society.
Sure. Yes, I mean they're getting support from outside,
Yeah.
And that is helping them to give this support to people. So that's good. That's a good thing.
I think that
There
is
was
a
another
really,
one.
that's
what you
really,
mentioned. The one about the Senegambia Bridge.
yeah, the Senegambia Bridge.
We
Doi,
attended
the press
conference and we heard what they had to say, Halifa Sallah particularly, although he was not so forthcoming when it came to his own future, which was interesting.
I saw that part. He was like, it will be announced accordingly when the time comes. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So that's interesting. But yeah, Senegambia Bridge, he was saying, and they were saying that if any deals are made regarding the bridge, then those deals should be brought to the National Assembly for verification and approval. So we wait and see whether that is what is going to happen. Yeah. Any other interesting ones?
I think that is all, unless GPPA's challenges in decision making attributed to soft nature of Gambians. Gambia Procurement Authority. So this has to do with the ongoing local government commission.
Yes, I was
I'm
going
like,
to comment on that.
soft nature.
Yeah, if people haven't been watching, like everybody was drawn to the TRRC.
But this one is a bit more interesting.
Trust me, this one is, some of what is going on is shocking.
It's too shocking.
Essentially, it is what we have always suspected, in that this country, we don't pay attention to systems and procedure or detail. We just do stuff. You hear people saying, oh, this should be verified by 3 people, but why is it only one person approved it and it still went through? And you're talking about, in one case, $9 million.
That's a lot.
Only one person approved it. And you're thinking, hang on. And in another case where you had people went out to tender, the one that charged $9 million
you would rather go for that one.
Is the one
because there's a kickback.
Well, this is
allegedly.
Because otherwise, why would you go for a kickback when you could have gone?
Well,
you could have
if you're a
saved
business person and then you want things to work, you obviously go for the less.
So it has been, and like I said, it's not as dramatic. There are not lots of killings and so on. But when you hear the amounts of money that have been signed off and that have disappeared with no proper procedure,
it's too much.
Quite shocking. It is really
that money could have been put into health.
So people, if you haven't watched it, start watching it.
They should start watching it.
I think you might want to kick your TV out of anger when you hear some of the kind of wastage that's gone on.
I was at first, I wasn't like against it. For me, since the beginning, I was like, okay, let's have the commission and then let's listen. Let's find out, you know. It was just everybody arguing about the timing. But now election has passed. It's happening. And we're finding out that councils allegedly
finding out some horrible stuff.
Some horrible stuff.
And in fact, there was one sentence when they asked the person who was giving evidence, he'd gone through a whole list of things, and they said, so what does that show? And he said, it shows that people did not follow proper procedure. For me, that's like the line that runs through almost every bit of evidence that we've heard. It really is quite shocking.
A country with very little resources.
We just pay no regard.
One person or 3 people wasting it and then building nice houses, buying expensive cars.
And when you look at it and you listen to the evidence that's being given, you obviously get the impression that people did this because they never thought that one day there would be a commission of inquiry that would look into their behavior,
they will never
into the practices, and nobody expected this. And it's come as a real shock.
So
and it's across the board. It's not just one council. It seems as if every council has been guilty.
Every council.
So it's really quite shocking.
Even
like I said, people, if you don't watch it, please watch it. But you'll be upset. Look,
allegedly, the rice, the bags,
Banjo,
buying a bag of rice for 600 when it's
buying
less than
cement
that.
for. It's totally
ridiculous.
Totally
but anyway, these are allegations. So, when the final report comes out.
Look, these go beyond allegations. Because what the council are putting to the people who are being questioned is that this is the evidence in front of us. This system says 3 people should verify this.
Why is not happening?
Why is it not happening? Why is it every time one person signs it and even somebody who has a conflict of interest has signed it?
That's
I mean,
crazy.
it's been scandalous, some of what has come through. But like I said, people aren't paying enough attention.
People
aren't. If they were,
because they're not seeing the drama.
People,
Gambians didn't buga kade.
So
buga drama.
So we want drama.
The hard move. So it's not all the time that it's drama. But then if you pay attention, then you will see that there's a problem.
If you pay attention
but it's
to
really unfortunate that this is happening. It's very, very unfortunate.
Well, we hope that some good will come out of it, because you hope that, you know, once they give their report, we will tighten up these procedures and not just have them on paper.
Yeah.
They will be, and you know, we know that they're now digitizing lots and lots of systems.
That's help
which
going
makes
to help.
which should help, should help greatly, because when you have paper systems, that's when you can have, because for some of the digital systems, because it's digital, if it says 3 people with 3 different IDs need to verify it,
if it's not there,
it can't proceed to the next and final stage. So, you know,
which is a good thing.
And that's a good thing. So, yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, I think the new Ministry of Digital Economy. I don't know what's up, Digital Economy Ministry.
I'd like to know.
Because you were talking about, you know, the websites the other day. You were talking about the fact that the first point, of course, should have been making sure that the website has set people using their, you know, government emails.
That's right. I mean, for me, that should be, you know, obviously not for me to tell a minister how to do his or her job. But, you know, if you're going to have that sort of thing, and you're saying that we're moving towards a kind of more digitalized system across government, then start with government websites.
Right.
There are, I think, 1 or maybe 2 government websites that are up to date. And when I say up to date, when you click on latest news,
You'll see
you get
latest
something
news.
from the last month
But
or
the
week.
Ministry of
Some of them
Higher
is 2 years
Education,
old,
they're
3
doing
years.
so well.
Yeah, some
with
of them
their
3.
handles.
Yeah, some of them latest news is 3 years ago.
No way.
I'm not
That
kidding.
is
In fact,
crazy.
I'll print some of them off, and we can go through them next
We
throughout this week.
We should
And
name
shame them.
names.
We
We
should
should
shame
name
them.
and start
Because
naming and shaming.
there's no excuse.
Let's wear our watchdog
Yeah,
hat.
yeah, because nobody else is doing it.
Exactly.
So maybe we should. Yeah.
It's really sad. So we're just gonna go for a short break, and then up next we will be joined by Honorable Usman Silla, who is the Secretary General of a network that has to do with TVET. We all can remember Crab Island. We've done tons of stories.
Lots of stories.
Lots of stories about how dilapidated it used to be, the school, how bad it even turned into a dump site. And then now when you go there, you see a completely different face.
Yep.
You know, just a few months ago, 2 to 3 months, they had their graduation ceremony.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's a good thing.
It's been completely transformed.
Yes,
Yeah.
completely. So we'll just go for a short break and we'll be right back.
QCell brings you the future with our ultimate bundles. Enjoy the best voice and data bundle plans in one package. Get unlimited data packages with flexible validity and enjoy what true internet feels like. Get 30 minutes of on-net and off-net calls with 5 gigabytes of data for just $350. Or get bigger bundle packages from 10 gigabytes to 20 gigabytes with over 100 on-net and off-net voice calls and enjoy the fastest internet speed in the Gambia. You can also buy 1-day, 3-day or even 7-day packages and enjoy unlimited data bundles with uncapped speeds. Just dial *343# today and experience the limitless capabilities of the QCell network. *343# should be your favorite code to dial now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, we innovate, others follow.
Step into the Espas Motors showroom for your luxurious name brand vehicle. Located along the Bertil Harding Highway, Espas Motors is the Gambia's authorized dealer for Chery, Kia, Ford, and now we bring you the new Peugeot model 3008 SUV. 18-inch alloy wheels, 216 inches high ground clearance, keyless entry system, start and stop button, rear parking assistance system with reverse camera, adaptive cruise control with speed limit, LED daytime running lights, front and side airbags, 8-inch HD touchscreen. Not to forget our exquisite Peugeot Landtrek double cabin pickup with 2.1-liter diesel engine, 6-speed manual transmission 4x4, hill descent control, LED daytime running lights. Espas Motors, the authorized dealer for Peugeot. Visit us today or call us on 35-2222 or 353-4444.
Do your banking the smart way with the new Ajib Bank mobile app. Transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia. Top up airtime for all networks. Pay utility bills. Check your account balance and view mini statements. Request for ATM cards. Request for checkbooks and more in a single touch. So, do your banking in a smart way. Do your banking now with Ajib Bank mobile app. Every time is banking time. Ajib Bank, your investment partner. asked for it, and QCell is giving it to you with our new and improved Sunyu Bundle Mega Promo. Now you can get more data at cheaper prices. Buy any of our bundle packages and enjoy massive discounts. Dial *303# and enjoy browsing on the network with the biggest coverage. Buy a 20 megabytes data bundle for as low as $7 and 50 bottles today, or purchase bigger bundles up to 20 gigabytes. Yes, that's right, 20 gigabytes of data at your fingertips. With our mega promo bundles, you can browse more, chat longer, and stay connected on the go, anytime, anywhere. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell. We innovate. Orders follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Ade Durami. So, Ade, we were talking about Honorable Usman Silla, who is the Secretary General of the Sub-Saharan Africa Skills and Apprenticeship Stakeholders Network, and he's here with us. But before we talk about the network, I think it's just important that we talk about Crab Island, just face.
Somebody who I think you and I have a lot of respect for.
Yes.
And Crab Island, TVET go together, and without Usman Silla's intervention, we wouldn't be praising what we have now at Crab Island. So I think before we go on, we must say a big thank you to that, and what you've done there and what you've achieved there. And I guess this one, I had a kind of jokey question to start with, because I think this network is only for English speaking. What's wrong with our Francophone brothers? Why are they not included?
Thank you very much, Ade and Jainaba, for having me on this morning show, QTV, a very popular show. Yes, I would be very keen to respond to your question. Of course, the intention is to eventually have the whole of Africa, a Pan-African organization. But the reason why we're saying Sub-Saharan Africa, English-speaking, is because the French-speaking Africa, that is the countries in West Africa and in North Africa that speaks French, have already had a similar network.
I did wonder whether that was the case.
Yes, so France, France and its former colonies, it does not win them altogether.
Go on.
So it is still, accompanying them, whether that time is appropriate to apply, but it's still, going with them.
Sure.
So it has formed a similar network, of course, with the full support of Morocco.
Right.
So they have this in place, and we cannot just jump into it. So what we said is that we're going to scale up. We're going to have this English-speaking network, and at some point, when we reach their level, we would definitely form a merger. That's one of our objectives.
Okay, great. Now, the name is a kind of giveaway, but I just wonder for the viewers if you would explain exactly what this network hopes to achieve.
Well, I think I need to give a little bit of history. It all started, the genesis, it all started in Benin. For me, the role that I play is emanated from the invitation from the Honorable Minister, Professor Pierre Gomez of Higher Education, who invited me to be part of the delegation from the Gambia. Right. Because the World Bank organized a regional workshop for the whole of Africa, inviting governments. And that they also wanted governments to identify non-state actors in the skills and apprenticeship business, or arena, if you will. And the minister identified me to be part of the delegation. So we went there, and it was during the sessions. Definitely I was very proactive, contributing. And I also shared with them the Crab Island experience. So they were quite impressed. I believe it must have, that must have been the reason why, when we had a resolution that there is a need for us to ensure that the recommendations that may come out of here to be implemented. If you leave it to government, they have so much on their table. So you need an organization that would be accompanying them, encouraging them, nudging them, pushing them to implement the recommendations. And then they said it was a resolution that a network needs to be formed by the English-speaking African countries. And when everybody agreed, it was a resolution. And they said, well, yes, we have the resolution, but also who's going to push it?
Sure.
Because, so they said, the Nigerian delegation, of course, I always say this, they said that they believe that the best person to push this is Honorable from the Gambia, Usman Silla, given what he's done, what he's told us that he's done. So this is how it came about, and it was then that we started the process. And of course, there's a record period of work, so to speak, that after Benin, less than 3 months, we were able to establish this foundation. We have a constitution in place, have created everything, and then in 5 months, we were able to come review it and then finally adopt it as a constitution. So this is how it came about, and presently we have nearly 20 member countries in English-speaking Africa. And now in our constitution, we also are opening up for non-English speaking, particularly the Lusophone, those who speak Portuguese and also Spanish, because Equatorial Guinea is the only Spanish country.
That's right.
And there are countries like Burundi, they express interest to be part of us. Even Benin, which is part of that French network, they are also interested because they want to be everywhere. And then, and Benin is often cited as a model in terms of skills and apprenticeship. So this is how it came about. This is where we had a launch, a formal launch in Abuja. Which was graced by the federal government, and they are in full support. Nigeria has offered to host the secretariat. We have a secretariat there, and eventually I'll be relocating to Nigeria, to the secretariat. But at the moment, I'll be operating a sub-secretariat, and I want to do it at Crab Island, where work continues, because we cannot wait for the secretariat or for the secretariat to be placed properly placed for work to commence. So work has started in earnest. So this is where we are.
Before I hand over to General, just a quick one. I mean, it's quite an ambitious project. Who's funding it, and how is it being funded? Well,
it's a membership-based organization. Members are supposed to be paying annual membership dues. But of course, it's not sufficient. That cannot be sufficient to run a continental organization. So, well, we have got the goodwill of the Nigerian government. They'll be coming to support in full force. But World Bank and ILO are also on the sidelines. They're also supporting, and they intend to come in a big way to support this, because we have, like you said, it's ambitious, but it's not unattainable, it's not undesirable. So we're going to push for it, and hopefully we're going to definitely realize our objectives.
Yeah, so moving on, networks as such is also some form of sharing experiences. So, what has been the lessons learned from other countries, from your engagements, comparing them to the Gambia when it comes to TVET?
Well, it's interesting that in some of the countries, member countries, we can learn a lot. There are experiences and good practices that we can learn from. Like, for instance, Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, and even Nigeria to some extent. They have been in this. And for us, the objective of the SASASnet is, well, the two pillars that our existence hinges on. Is one, we are trying to promote, coordinate, and support skills and apprenticeship development in Africa. In essence, what we want to do, and that's the second pillar, and they two together, that we want to formalize the informal sector. Formalize the informal sector in terms of skills and apprenticeship. Like, for instance, let me give you an example. In the Gambia, you have many workshops, carpentry workshops, welding workshops, auto mechanic workshops, and they have trainees under them. Sometimes they spend years there, and they are qualified, but they cannot show anybody the level of qualification, their level of skill, the skills acquisition. So this is where SASASnet wants to come in, to ensure that a system is put in place, so that those who own those workshops, we call them master craft persons, MCPs, they'll be trained to be able to assess their trainees, their apprentices, we call them apprentices. They'll be able to assess their apprentice, and then the standards that they apply, that we apply at Crab Island, we apply at GTTI, all these private training institutions, the same standards will be applied. And in fact, the level, the instruction of training will be in their languages, Wolof, Mandinka, Pular, Jola. You can do it. And then, assess their level, and then issue them certificates as Crab Island is doing. Not all of them can get to Crab Island. Perhaps Crab Island may have some entry requirements that some do not have. There are some young people who have not been to school, some who have dropped out, although Crab Island is trying to accommodate those that are dropped out. But there are there's a challenge, those in the madrasas. for them, eventually they will become imams and ustazis. And that's not the only route profession that should be open for them. We have to open other areas so they can come into skills. So they can go for this, and we call it RPL. That's the new system that is introduced. Recognition of prior learning. In fact, Gambia has started it, but it's not yet institutionalized. So we have to apply RPL so that those in those informal settings will be formalized. Because at the end of the day, what they need is certificate. They need to be assessed.
In the way that in the UK they have the City and Guilds.
City and Guilds, yeah.
And that's how it kind of grew up, you know, so people can go. Because like when we interviewed some of these young men who wanted to go on this back way, and I asked one of them, well, you know, what skills have you got? He said, well, I've been a motor mechanic for 5 years. I said, have you got anything to prove that? No, nothing. But at least if you had your paper, even if you went back way, but if you had your paper, you know, you could say, well, you know.
But also, aside from that, you can see that currently, when the new dispensation came, then skill acquisition became something big for young people, obviously with the Youth Empowerment Project and other projects. But then it's important that we also draw our attention to the issue of standards, because it's something that has been questioned a lot of times. You know, there are a lot of TVET institutions now. What can we do to ensure that there's standard there? You know, these young people are not going there to just get the certificate and that's the end of it. And when they go into the real world, then the practice becomes a problem. So is this an area that you're looking at, this standards issue?
Thank you very much. It's good that you are asking the right questions. Yes, in fact, that's one of these reasons. That's one of our raison d'etre, is that we are not only concerned with the informal sector, but the formal sector as well. We want to upgrade their skills to a level that, you know, they can go and sell their skills, they can go and offer their skills outside. Like, for instance, this example, when we were in Nigeria, the chairperson of the network, Professor Idris Bugaje, who is the head of the National Board for Technical Education, NBT of Nigeria. Well, I cited a case in point that this Bangote, you know, is an industrialist. He has built a refinery so that Nigeria will stop exporting its raw oil, and they will be processing it there to produce, to get petrol, diesel, all the, you know, things that can come out of, you know, the black gold. And but when they were building the refinery, and you know, refinery requires skills. It requires skills because it's technical. He had to import labor from India, 11,000 Indian skilled workers. And he did that because the skill is not available in Nigeria. So that's the challenge. So how do you address that? The challenge is that our governments must invest. And there's another challenge also. The West, as you know, this raging war in Europe, Ukraine and the West, now they want to source their gas from Africa, Gulf of Guinea, Nigeria, so to speak, and then hopefully those other countries, Gabon and the like. And they want to build a gas pipeline from that Gulf of Guinea through the Atlantic Ocean, passing through Gambia to Europe. But there's a skill that, in fact, Gambia will be looking into. In fact, for me, I have been talking with some authorities in skills in the Gambia, that Crab Island and other skills centers should look into that. How do we help our young people to learn the skill of underwater welding? It fetches so much, it pays so much, that if we have that, we cannot miss out. Gambian young people, skilled welders, who can do marine welding, they call it underwater welding. It's a skill. It's not that anybody can do it. So if, and not only that, but so many areas, then we'll be able to, you know, benefit from that. And it's a $25 billion project that is coming up. And if you are not careful, what happened with Dangote and Nigeria is going to happen here. You have the skills, but the money is going to be repatriated because those who are doing these skills are from outside.
I don't think you're the first person to even bring the issue of labor up, you know, because even recently a real estate Mongol in Gambia, you know, was talking about how it's even more expensive to build houses in the Gambia. Way more expensive. But if you go to other countries like Nigeria, you know, maybe Ghana, labor is in abundance. You know, you can just get people to do the job for you. But in Gambia, it's the opposite, where then labor is not available. Then you have to get other people to do the job. So I think generally that's a big issue. When you talk about it, young people get angry anyway.
No, but
you know,
it's a fact. I mean, we can go around and we can show lots of buildings that you and I know where the people who are doing the kind of ordinary skills, you would say, that there are people from Senegal, people from Sierra Leone. Lots of big building projects here in the Gambia. There are people from Sierra Leone working on the people from Senegal.
Most of the time.
And so, you know, why is it that we don't have Gambians who are trained in what are, you know, fairly basic skills? So you're absolutely right. You know, if it comes to things like underwater welding, if we're not training, then the bit that goes past Gambia, you'll be getting people from other countries to
do it. But I see the ministry now is taking a different, you know, approach to things. The Ministry of Higher Education, you know, sending Gambians to do fisheries, like some of these technical areas. Now they're kind of focusing on that. So I think if they continue with that, then we'll be able to achieve things like this.
I mean, this is a debate that's come up many, many times, and it comes up every time there's the convocation at the university. What are we training our people to do?
Right.
Are we training them to take the reins of running our own country, or are we training them to be lawyers, accountants, and so on? How many lawyers do we need? How many accountants do we need?
How many journalists do we need?
You know,
those traditional professions.
Well, this is it. What about structural engineers? What about, you know, what about those skills? You know, let's
particularly skills.
But sometimes, you know, the argument is people also get into those fields, they drop out. Either they drop out, or when they're also sent to go and study it, you know, they drop out there, or they don't come back because they feel like it's not then lucrative in their own country. Then they see the, you know, so there are a lot of factors.
You don't do it here, and then you're bringing people from other countries to come and do it. You know,
so
it should not be even things like building bridges, roads, and so on. It should be all done by Gambians.
It can be,
because, you know.
And in fact, for SASASNet also, we are not also pushing for, you know, a narrow nationalist agenda in the sense that what we want. In fact, we want to introduce a skills passport. That's one of our objectives. The person from Sierra Leone with skills can come and work in the Gambia. And the skilled person from Gambia can go to Sierra Leone.
That's good.
The challenge is that those who are outside of the continent coming to do our work, repatriating our money.
Now
what our objective is, so for us, that's what we are pushing.
It stays within.
So the way we're going to go about this is we want to harmonize. We want to come up with, you know, arrangements, you know, policies, laws, that ensure harmonization, like frameworks. You need training, you need certification, you need qualification. These are the standards. These are the, you know, approaches in skills training. So we need to harmonize. We may have some differences, but the similarities would be more than the differences. And the differences are just from national context. But by and large, we're going to have similarities, you know, to harmonize, not just harmonize our systems, open up our countries. Because in Nigeria has every right to work in the Gambia, equally as Gambia has every right to work in Sierra Leone or South Africa. So this is what SASASNet want to push. And we are doing it together with governments. We are not doing it alone, because they are the key drivers. They should be drivers. They are the ones who are given the responsibility to serve our countries. They are the ones who are collecting the tax. And it's our tax money that we said invest back. And there is no better way for governments to invest than in skills. Because if you invest in skills development, you are investing in youth development. You are investing in security. You are investing in development. You are investing in addressing poverty, because employment is going to be created. So skill is an area that governments should really look into. And SASASNet is going to encourage governments to introduce levies. We don't want to overtax anybody, you know, private sector, government workers, whoever, business, whoever is doing, who's supposed to pay tax. But I believe we can agree that there is need for us to support, for everybody to support skills development, skills and apprenticeship development, because the advantages, the benefits are more. There, I don't see anything that any disadvantage in it. So this is what we're going to do. So the way we are going to operate is that we have a secretariat, that is the administration, which I am heading as Secretary General. We have a chairperson who chairs the executive committee, and then at the level of countries, because it's a continental organization, so we also want to exist in member countries. So what we're going to have is we're going to have focal persons who are going to interface alongside the focal, we call country focal committees. They, together with the focal persons at the national level, will interface with the secretariat to push the agenda towards the realization
ambitious,
of
right?
Indeed, yes.
Ambitious, but so looks organized.
And it's very organized. And then at the national level, these national focal committees, they are going to constitute government. The ministries that are responsible for training, like for instance in the case of Gambia Mohas, they are going to be part of it. Ministry of Labor, because labor is part of it, and trade. And in the Gambia, we are lucky that the two are together. We have one ministry, housing, trade, and labor. So they too will be represented because labor and enterprise, there's an element of enterprise in it because we want to support them. At the end of the day, with training, you either have employability and self-employment.
Right.
So the employability, that's fine. Labor is going to get self-employment also is trade.
Yeah.
So then you have the labor, the trade unions are going to be part of it, artisan organizations.
Yeah.
Because in this case, when we were going to Nigeria, I was able to get the Federation of Gambian Carpenters to be part of it.
Amazing.
So, and we are going to encourage them to form. Our challenge here is that these skills persons, they are not organized. We are going to encourage them to form organizations, unit clusters that will come together under an umbrella, work with the network, push our agenda, get governments to support them, get the international to support them. And we have partners like I said, ILO, World Bank, GIZ, they want to. But for us, our governments must take the lead.
Must take. So before you leave, we only have about 4 to 3 minutes. We had a amount of students that graduated from Crab Island. So I just is there a monitoring mechanism to see after graduation, where do these people fit in? You know, do they have places to like fit in after graduation? Is there any monitoring mechanism on that?
Certainly, yes. In fact, that's part of the approach at Crab Island.
Okay.
That is not only training them. In fact, initially our model was to have a cooperative setup so that all those who graduate, we're going to ask them. Like I said, the trainees we are churning out are going to be two: those who want employment, self-employment, and those who want to become employable with the skills. So those who want employment, how do you accompany them?
Okay.
So we had a plan, a model, cooperative model. Well, of course, if I continued as a National Assembly, I would have pushed that at the national level. But it's all the same. I can do it now better than
when you were a
because
National Assembly
now
member.
I have more clout,
Yes.
you know, more connections,
Yes.
you know, more resources,
Yeah.
and SASASNet is really going to impact positively on the Gambia.
Yeah.
Not Crab Island and all the training institutions are going to. I'm going to ensure that all the training institutions in the Gambia and in other countries as well, because we are not going to be biased. I'm not going to be biased, but we're going to ensure that all the training institutions that need support, that need attention, get the attention and support from
Yeah, so I guess that is all we
So
have
Crab Island,
time
what we are
for.
doing with Crab Island, yes, we have accompanied them. Some of them we are lucky that they are employed by those who hosted them,
Right.
and some we are really doing some monitoring.
All
with
right,
them,
thank you
and they are
so
doing
much.
very well.
But Mr. Ade, also before we leave, just to say at least we have a National Assembly member that we can also point at to say after your term, this is what you have achieved, you know.
But yes, this is it. Because we've always said that many people who go to the National Assembly, if they are no longer in the National Assembly,
What are they up to?
what do they do?
We don't hear from them.
And here we have a brilliant example of somebody who's gone into something, as he said, now you're reaching across so many countries, something that he would not have been able to do had he still
As a
been
National
a National
Assembly member. So maybe you're not a National Assembly member because
so-
this is what you're supposed to do.
no,
Like you said, it's all good.
It's all good, yeah. It's better. It's even better.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that the people are missing out. The Gambia, those who I should be serving directly, missing out. But I'm serving the continent, and Gambia is included.
Yes, that's the
So-
most important thing. But thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
always
thank you.
good to have you, like Mr. Ade said. Always good to be around you. So my amazing co-host, I think that is all we have time for.
I've pretended to be Ibrahim
Ibrahim
Abalde
Abalde.
today, but
Yes,
I
and
hope I
nice
did
shirt.
well.
That looks so
Thank
good.
you, yes.
For some reason, you've been wearing really nice shirts now.
I'll keep on wearing nice
Please
shirts.
do.
Thank
Please
you.
do. So we come your way tomorrow with another interesting episode. Bye for now.